Hey everybody, it's BJ.
And Patrick.
And we're back talking all things real estate. Thank you for joining us. Give us a like for the channel, for the video, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything because we have a pile of good content that we're putting out there as it relates to real estate. So it's headline day.
This is always exciting. Let's see what's going on.
So I'm gonna read the headline, a little bit of the article here, and then we'll talk about it. So this is a headline from betterdwelling.com. It reads, Canadian housing starts stagnant. 3 times growth was never realistic, according to BMO.
All right, so before I start ranting on, let's see what this has to say here.
Yeah. Okay. So Canadian housing starts are starting to lose momentum. CMHC data shows a drop in housing starts back in September now. And overall, what we're seeing is construction is slowing, regardless of what the government is doing to try and boost the market. Okay? Now, get ready. Here it comes. The why. Okay?
Oh, we're waiting for this one.
Yeah, so this is for so a couple of things. So the senior economist at BMO, Robert Kavcich, we've referenced his stuff before, and here's what he had to say: market conditions are making it tough for builders with higher borrowing costs, and importantly, wait for it, the disappearance of investors.
Wow, Mr. Captain Obvious.
That are, and here it is, investors that are often leaned on to bring projects to the construction phase.
Oh, you mean it's speculators?
The evil speculators.
The evil megalomaniac.
Whatever we call it. That's what EB stopped just short of calling them evil speculators. And in their website.
Well, they're so villainized when the politicians talk about speculators, but clearly those investors that are speculating, they're the ones that invest in these things to get these condos off the ground.
Yeah,
right?
Here it is. Investors represent upwards of 70%
Weird.
of pre-construction demand in major cities.
And how much pre-construction sales do you need to get financing approved? Oh, it's right around, plus minus 70%. Sometimes it's 60%, sometimes it's 80%. There we go. Without them, we're not going to build all these houses. Yeah, but you tell us what you guys think about like evil speculators and, villainized the flippers and all of this stuff, right? Like it doesn't happen without people putting up money first, taking a chance on maybe you'll buy that product.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And we did an article or talked about an article at one time about how investors are leaving Canada and heading to the U.S. real estate market and U.S. investment.
Oh, yeah. Lots of people are moving away.
Or they may still live here, but they're moving their assets.
But they're investing in U.S. markets.
Yeah. So all in, there's no upward push in new supply. And here's, oh man. Considering the magnitude of this tightening cycle, it's encouraging that this sector hasn't broken even harder. So they've hit the wall, but it's encouraging that they haven't hit the wall bad.
Yeah, so maybe we call this a soft landing, right? So this isn't unexpected. Like this is kind of like I say Captain Obvious only because like, oh, look, interest rates went up. Yeah. And then at the same time interest rates are going up, unemployment starts to fall like behind that, not fall down, starts to increase in behind that like a lag indicator. And then, oh, what do you know? There's less housing starts than the year previous and the year previous that.
Yeah.
Well, we all knew that. And while the government's all making announcements on affordable housing, we're going to build 4 million houses by this time or that time. David Eby was with his BC Builds program is talking about 400,000 houses.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? 400,000 what? Over 15 years? Because like our best year is 40,000 new units, or not even new units. We don't know about the ones that finished completion.
Sure.
These are just measuring housing starts.
Yeah.
Right? So like they could have measured housing starts in Toronto with all these condos or Vancouver.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, well, wait a minute, did those actually complete?
Yeah.
We could have started them, but did they actually come to market?
Yeah.
So
Okay. So
I'll slow
this is
down.
this is really good. I personally find this next section pretty interesting.
All right.
Okay. It's worth noting that the downturn and the lofty starts and the projection of them and then the subsequent downturn aren't an accident. The government, I love this, the government has put their money where their mouth is. No, this is how it reads. The government has put taxpayer cash where their mouth is.
Oh, at least they said it
I like that they said
in a
that,
real
right?
way.
Right.
That's our money.
Yeah. So incentivized continued development with everything from state-backed multi-generational development loans. I like that too, state-backed. Call it what it is. Anyway, multi-generational loans to modifying the original announcement of high ratio extended repayment for first-time buyers to include investors. The push to adopt these market inefficiencies is ironically a major driver of higher construction costs. This places a medium-term drag on supply at the expense of preventing prices declining, though this is probably not an accident.
State-backed loans. That's CMHC. Like we back. That's a crown corporation.
Yeah,
I'm pointing at me like I'm all the taxpayers combined. All of us back this program
yeah,
together
yeah,
as we pay all our
yeah,
taxes. It's funny, and then the municipalities are still fiscally irresponsible that they're addicted to these high development cost charges and permit fees.
yeah,
When I don't know exactly what the numbers are, I have to review it again, but it's something like 25-30% of the total cost of a home, if it's a condo or if it's a single detached home,
yeah,
is fees and taxes
sure,
to the municipal government.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
When is the municipal government going to start becoming fiscally responsible
sure,
and not be addicted to these like this income that they're
yeah,
robbing people? They're robbing the home buyer.
sure. And here's the thing for the developers and the builders, they're not doing this out of charity. There's a business program. There's a business structure that requires a certain amount of profit to pay everything, the trades, the land, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to pay back debt and everything else. They operate on a 20 to 25% profit.
And the bank won't finance you unless you can put that in your pro forma, in your calculation formula to show, look, I think we can sell these condos at X. And if we pre-sell 70, that
Right.
kind of gives some assurance to the bank that they will finance this
Right.
big condo, townhouse, whatever project.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
here's the thing, if we demonize
They won't give you the money to do it.
if we demonize the developers because they need to have a certain profit margin so that they can make this profitable,
Yeah.
I mean, they're just going to walk entirely and go somewhere else. I've always said this, when people with the wherewithal to leave or remove their assets somewhere else or their investment somewhere else do so, we are in trouble. That's going to have more repercussions and long-term effects on our economy.
I'm not completely afraid of that. I agree that that's definitely a precursor to issues. I think it's all hot air when the government says they're going to tax the rich people.
Yeah.
The rich people don't pay income tax.
Yeah.
Tell me a billionaire that takes a salary.
Well, yeah, for sure.
They don't take
But-
salaries. So what's there to tax? Corporate, land, whatever,
Well,
capital gains.
So here's what I would throw into that too is I'll give you an example. Is a friend of mine in another province who is a very successful. I don't know how much work he's doing nowadays, but he's been very successful as a developer, builder, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And he said to me at one time, he said, I'm going to wrap it up soon anyway. All of this government involvement is just encouraging me not to take on any new projects and just wrap up what I've got going and, ride off into the sunset kind of thing.
Right. And then of course those people, unless like there's a succession plan for his company, where all those people that are employed by that and all the other other people that they hired to do different things, subcontracts.
Yeah.
Right? That's either like that all that business evaporates or that void gets filled with other new people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think there's some pretty interesting points here for sure. The big one being that you can't have it both ways.
Was a big fantasy wonderland statement in the first place to say like we're going to build $4 million houses in the climate and then us to believe them, like our averages even nationally or provincially.
Yeah,
It's just hot air.
yeah,
Right.
for sure.
So like just like oh the what is it, the mortgage renewal cliff, everything's gonna go to
Yeah,
trash. And the whole market's going to crash. It's a big bubble. And like, hey, look, we're right in the middle of the mortgage cliff and it's kind of okay.
yeah. I
Like,
mean,
it's affecting people,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah, right. We don't deny that there's some issues there with people and their numbers and making things work out, but
But it hasn't turned the Canadian real estate into a dystopia,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah. The Hunger Games.
like
You have to fight for your province.
you have to fight every day waking up and go to work to get what you want, right?
Yeah,
Because if you don't get up and sacrifice for things that you want, the things that you want will become the sacrifice.
very good.
On that
And
note.
on that note, take that with you to wherever you're going today. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.